Thanks, Livy. Yes, Chuy, great work on that proposal. I have also been studying it. It looks great, and it would be great also to have like a sync about it, maybe with the other stewards. But yeah, for sure, there's other moment to talk about this. And also, my intention is to show and to promote the reading of two forum posts that I made today. One was updating the 75% governance giveback, because yesterday in the common swarm call, there was some advance that unblocked the this proposal, and also that I posted the second Graviton training in the forum, so yeah, everyone can see them. And in songs, I have been listening to this girl called Nati Peluso. It's really good, and I will share it in the comms um, channel. And I will pass to Manu.
Gracias, Luca. Intentions just seeing back with Chuy. I haven't talked with him. See what things are cooking up in the comms channel and see how I can help. No distractions, and on my playlist, I guess I listened to the Donda album and the new Kanye and the new Drake albums. That's pretty much it. I'll pass it to, I don't know who's gone or who's left. Maybe I'll pass it to Griff.
Yeah, on my playlist is like just mostly the music I was listening to with Lauren in Denver. So there's like a whole green light playlist. Uh, that's pretty much all I listen to these days. And then as far as intentions for the call, just to hang out and answer any, be useful if I'm useful. I'm going to be extremely distracted. I think I'm going to actually walk during most of this call. And also there's another call always during this call, the Gardens call, that occasionally that I may have to leave if there's something I need to hop over there. But Lauren, Mitch, Donna, like half the Give It team is in there, so I don't think I'd rather be here. So yeah, I'll pass it to who's here? Septimus, did you go?
Yeah, thanks, Riff. Yeah, my intention. I don't know if we should do some comms, but I have the intention to do a debate right after SoftGov about what we were discussing yesterday on the Agave channel. I'm going to announce it also on the community call, but yeah, I don't know if. I was thinking after SoftGov, it's nice because there would be some engagement, and I feel like it's the right place. And also was thinking with that with Mitch, so we can also have some. Mitch did two forum posts that all the information is there, so we can have some discussion in the forum, and passing some days we can also do it on a debate, and I think that would be fun and interesting for everyone. And as far as music, uh, I do not change so much, so I keep listening the same every week. Some Spanish rap, and yeah, I'll pass it to uh, David.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here. Intentions, distractions. My intentions are to succinctly communicate a full detailed Twitter update to my comms family today. And distractions. Not very many. I have to present some Twitter summary to my family today, and that's a bit of a distraction. I guess if that can be both. And for playlist, I'm really liking like the ambient music on YouTube, the soundscapes and like yoga music. You can just, there's these 3-hour loops. You can put those on and dive right into some focused work. So yeah, I'm liking the yoga tunes. Yeah, it's nice and relaxing. And with that, I'll pass it on to, how about Aloysius? Aloysius.
David. Aloysius.
Yes.
It's tricky to say. Okay. Intentions. I don't know. Taking in new information. I guess I could answer the music thing. I've been obsessed with this album, Fred Again, like almost the whole entire thing, for about a month. It's holding me. I don't know who go. Did Nate Suits go?
I have not gone. Thank you. Doing intentions, distractions, and music, I assume. Intentions are to sync up with all of the comms and see what we're doing, where I can support. Distractions, it's been an early morning, long night, but it's been good. And music, I would say I've been listening to Franz Ferdinand, Modest Mouse, that genre of music that I missed out on for a little bit, and I just kind of took a break from and revisiting, and I love it. So I will pass it back to you, Chuy, to pass it on.
Thank you, Nate. Let's pass it to, I think Zero and Durganas are the last one. So let's start with Zero.
Hi. Yeah, I had some mic problem yesterday. Hopefully, it works. Like my intentions are like I intend to maybe see what you guys are up to and possibly write some like entry-level articles starting this week. Distractions. I ate a bad kebab. So that's distracting me right now. And music, I've been listening to like this crazy genre called drill, UK hip hop hybrid. I'll pass it on to Durgadat if he's after.
Sorry, I just showed up. I don't know what we're doing.
Hey, Durganas, it's just intentions, distractions for the comms call, and something that has been in your playlist, either music or a podcast that you'd like to recommend everybody else.
Okay. Yeah, I just showed up to see what was going on. I guess that's my intention. I've been distractions is my regular day job, as always, and yeah, I'd like to recommend a song called Goliath by a band named Carnivool. If you like progressive rock or metal, it's one of the cooler songs for those music geeks out there. It has a meter of 27.4, so it's a little bit weird. Rick Beato is a nice breakdown of it if you're interested, and I guess I'm the end. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Durganas. For me, my intentions for today's call is to sync with everybody with what we've been doing, what we're still doing around the campaign. And also, as Libby brought it up, gather like some new information about the TEC Comms DAO and how these ideas have been like settling down in everybody's minds. And as for distractions, I have like really loud pop music like next to me. I'm really glad that apparently you can't hear it. But yeah, I'm in a public place today because my new ISP sucks. So while I get that fixed, I'm gonna be working here. And as for playlists, I just started like this morning. Like I listened to like an album that never really gets old. The songs from the Picture by Tears for Fears. So it was a really nice morning, just like walking around with like everybody wants to rule the world and stuff like that. So let's start with today's agenda. So Params September is still going on. David is gonna present us like some like a basic form of Twitter analytics that we're gonna start putting together like bi-weekly to present to the community. And we would like to raise like more awareness among the community of who are we talking to, who's listening, and how can we use this information to improve our strategies, our campaigns, and also like strengthen more bonds with specific communities that we might be reaching, and we're just like clueless about it. So we're very excited about implementing analytics around the Params September, and this is gonna keep going on until next week. So if you have any suggestion or would like to contribute in some form, please reach out to us. We will be really glad to listen to some of your feedback. So let's, for those of you that are more familiar with the TEC Comms DAO proposal, let me actually, I'm gonna add the link to the presentation for those of you that would like to catch up with it. I would like to listen to maybe like some feedback or ideas that you've been having, either if it's something like it doesn't necessarily have to be good, or it doesn't have to be like like criticism, but just anything that you might come across, like even if it's like something that you don't understand. This is actually how we've been enriching this proposal a lot with stuff that we just assume that everybody like knows and is more familiar with, especially around like public funds and project funding. So let's do like a quick round of recap with the TEC Comms DAO and see what comes up. Let's start with Livy.
Should I share my screen? Because I left a lot of comments there. I can go over them. I'll do it quickly.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, first is a really great proposal. I love to see how structured it is, and I think this will help a lot the other working groups. This is just something basic, like among the comments I didn't understand. I think keep strengthening the TEC as the Schelling point for T is like short and powerful. And then here, yeah, I think this is a really great role to have like relations with other token engineering related projects and join forces in the communication. And then here just added that something to be mindful of could be to continue developing the TEC voice and style according to the mission, vision, and values. So to have like an alive voice and style, but always like aligned. And then just added that another possible role that this comms could, that this DAO could support is artists, and maybe we could explore more into an NFT arm to raise funds to the DAO or things like that, or even educational NFTs and artsy about like everything we're doing. And then in the, I see you address that later, but in the funding part, I think we should think a little bit more on how to integrate like the funding that is being requested and the amount that is going to come from reward systems. I think we'll have a better idea when we decide how much tokens are going to be given through praise and source cred and etc. And then I just thought 2 hours for writers might be like very optimistic. I don't know if that's enough time per week, but I think you have a better view on that too. But it could be good to like talk to the people that are writing, and then, or to all of the people that have been working on these areas, and ask how many hours they are currently working to have a more accurate perspective there. And then I just didn't understand why there is like one group that receives 19 DAI per hour and another one that gets 12 DAI per hour. I'm a fan of horizontal contributions, and maybe everyone could receive the same, but also just suggestions. And then here, I really like that you added the community audit in the end, because it's a great idea for us to keep accountability in the flow with those other arms that might be like hard to keep them all coordinated. But I think this is a great point. And then just a little bit of thoughts on like the word sub DAO sounds a little weird, but I don't know if we have something better for it. But it would be good to have explicit that the Commons has a relationship with the TEC. And then just the names like TE Comms might sound confusing with TE Commons for people that are arriving and don't know that they are two different things. And yeah, for the DAO platform, I suggest we use multi-sigs for the working groups. And I think Nate is starting this work with Boardroom to understand how we could integrate them all in some type of like same platform that we can have a view of them all, even though they're all different and are independent on its own. But it might be easier to start with a multi-sig because it's not like so many people. And then SourceCred has a bounty feature. Aloysius can speak more about that, but I saw that it was implemented recently and we could experiment with that. And then I do think that we should have the same terms and conditions from the TEC. And I would go further even with agreements, most agreements, code of conduct, and this type of stuff. And this was unclear to me, the offboarding process of the TEC is scalable or not, and how this is related to this. So those were my comments.
Perfect, Livy. Thank you so much for sharing these. I'm gonna look into your notes to try something like ready for tomorrow's Stewards call and see how we can keep improving this. And yeah, especially like the naming issue, as you say, like let's find like a creative way to keep this like Comms DAO like associated with the TEC, because yeah, like one of like the first clarifications that I wanted to make is that we are not divorcing the TEC. Like we're probably like more part of the TEC than ever, since the TEC like provides for us. And and the only doubt that I wanted to also like clear was about if you like if the basic roles, like the essentials roles that keep comms going for the TEC is gonna be, let's say, like not a basic income. Sorry, I apologize, because for over a month they haven't come up with a better concept. But it's like a base like rate, and it's not like the purpose of it is that it is not like full time. So I mean, of course, like writers could be like working 10 hours, right, per week. Maybe if they can only like contribute for 2 hours per week, that's good. The idea is that these essential roles that serve the TEC comms can be complemented with a bigger project. So I also agree, as you say, that like the rates should be like all the same. There shouldn't be like differences or like vertical structures around that. But my goal with that was that contributors are free to like work more if they want, or get involved with other kinds of projects, so that in addition of what they are serving as a basic or essential role in the TEC could be complemented with another form of income, with projects that are going to be more like isolated, or are gonna have like specific roadmaps. So for the video, for example, if we come up with a video production, this video production is probably going to take from 4 to 6 weeks. But during those 4 to 6 weeks, we will be able like to do this like as complementary work to what we are doing already to the TEC, and these projects are going like to specific objectives and goals. So this is why like we want to like incentivize people to like contribute with bigger things or with bigger projects that is gonna involve like bigger responsibilities. And this is why there's like a difference in the rates, because the essential roles are just gonna cover like half time, let's say, but the complementary projects could be are only gonna be like for a limited time. So this is why there is this difference, but I would love to like explore alternatives or just like more options around it. Like how could we handle it in a way that's like fair and also like accessible to anyone that wants to contribute. I feel that this is also going to help a lot with just funneling like people and intentions when they come up with when they come to the TEC. As this like tweet raised it up, like it looks like we all have like a PhD or something, and we want to make this like more accessible and for people to be like more perceptive about how we can all contribute to token engineering, even though we're not like token engineers ourselves. So this is kind of like the intention on like having these kinds of balance or like roadmap specific projects. So yeah, I wanted to clear this doubt, but I'm also gonna take into account like all of the notes that you gave, so I can present like some updates in tomorrow's Steward meeting. Does anybody else have some input on the Comms DAO or how the idea has evolved, or maybe something that has kind of like ring the bell and you don't think it's right and that we could address? Just anybody is welcome to comment.
I pretty much agree with the Levy feedback, but there's one thing I have my doubts. Like, why is better to have a multi-sig instead of a DAO? Like, I imagine like working groups, like maybe like people will come and go. Like, you know, the Steward that is today maybe not be here like 10 years from now. So if these people still held a multi-sig, yeah, I don't know. It feels weird. Maybe it would be better just to. I mean, not better, but yeah, I feel I don't know. Yeah, how it would benefit in the long run to have a multi-sig instead of being a DAO.
So I just wanted to put my thoughts in here. I do think this is the right direction. I like the idea of having these types of service DAOs, especially for the field of TE. There are two things that I think need to remain consistent. Being independent, that you're going to have your own rules and your own environment, your own, commons, basically, with your own people. Is that you maintain the mission, vision, values of the TEC, and the decision-making processes remain the same, as in you use the same platforms, you use the same, procedures that SoftGov advises on, and you maintain those two aspects of it throughout the entire process. Having cohesion in the mission and having cohesion in the decision making is the two important things in my opinion. As far as like the funding and stuff, I sent you my thoughts on like funding proposal type stuff system, but it's just whatever the Commons decides. In my opinion, I think you should have autonomy to decide that as a group. So, but yeah, I'll pass it back to you.
Hey, did you mean that?
Thank you, Nate.
Can I just ask for clarification, Nate? Did you mean that the Comms DAO should continue to use like the production processes? I didn't quite understand what you meant by the Comms DAO should continue to use the TEC DAO processes.
Yep. So things like using Snapshot for signaling, using similar the decisions that you make in Comms DAO should be transparent. The entire thing should be transparent to the rest of the TEC community. So you're not making isolated decisions all the time, but like things that impact the community, they should be discussed and make sure it's visible at minimum. And so that's why just following the same processes is what I would.
Sounds like two distinctly different things there: transparency and having parallel processes.
Well, I think that if you're making decisions on Snapshot and instead of, within your own version of maybe you're using token log rather than Snapshot, I think that's not as visible as it can be. I think if you follow the same processes of the other working groups, if they become DAOs, that you have more information sharing with common platforms.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, David, and thank you, Nate. Does anybody else have some input about the Comms DAO?
Yeah, I just
go for it, Durgadas. No, you first.
I'll go after Griff.
I was just going to say that I think somewhere in here we need to just talk about how we're promoting the culture of token engineering as well as the sort of technical and individual processes. And I kind of looked and I didn't really see much of an emphasis on that. I have to say the big appealing thing for me in this space is I don't participate much in the technical side of it, but because of the culture, I have a lot more of a trust that those things are being done according to a certain kind of way. And I remember at the beginning, Griff talking about how the kind of idea behind this was to be sort of an IEEE sort of idea for token engineering, and that requires a certain level of trust, and the culture is the thing that creates that trust. And so it would be nice to see that sort of specifically called out and mentioned as a culture as strategic advantage is really what I'm thinking of here in terms of that.
Thank you so much for that, Durga. Actually, I'm thinking of like restructuring like part of this presentation so that we can start answering how is the Comms DAO gonna help the TEC like reach its goals? How are we gonna keep working on what we've been working? And probably like this whole section of like being public for TEC can be probably like restructured so that we can like evolve to that, but from our cultural build. I feel that this clarification is gonna be very useful for the community. There's just like a lot of confusion about what are we doing and what are we doing it for. And,
right.
Yeah, just so. Yeah.
Well, and I just want to sort of echo the thing that I said, quite a bit earlier about the deliberately developmental organization. In some ways, breaking up into individual DAOs is exactly that. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that we're like, okay, now we're going to sort of intentionally take comms and gravity and whatever else and sort of, develop that, along a certain kind of line. So it might be interesting to find out, what are the common principles underneath all of those things so that we can, share that not only tech, but also, cultural development.
Yeah, thank you very much. You wanted to add something, Rick?
Yeah, I think that the level of detail might be a little too much for the proposal, especially around like wages and stuff. I don't know if you want to commit to everything. I really hope that in many ways first thing, I totally agree. Sorry for the background noise. I totally agree with Livia on maybe changing the name so it's not also the acronym of TEC. I think that's really astute point. That maybe it's TE Marketing DAO or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And then just with like committing to wages across the board, like I do like. Of course, I like the idea of it being fair and the same for everyone, but at the same time, I also think that it's up to the working group to figure out how to best get the job done. And maybe you need a designer who's really good or something, and you pay them more. And maybe there's like someone who's willing to volunteer and just be an intern. These things are kind of up to individuals. So I don't know about the level of detail I feel like it could be a little bit more macro. And also I'm in Vienna, and with a bunch of token engineers, there's a token engineering school kind of in Vienna, or a division. And I was talking with Chris Peruk, and he was explaining the Comms DAO concept to him, and how it could, and he was very, very amenable to like how great it would be to have this as a shared service, and be able to like use it to amplify some of the things that they're working on. Like they have a whole token engineering course in a college here no one knows about, and it would be cool if they had some Twitter presence, if they had some of these things, and they just don't have the overhead for it, or the bandwidth for it. They're doing token engineering research and education. Also, like maybe a note taker or some other things. So, yeah, I just want to say that at least there's already a little bit of market fit for this concept. So that's really cool. Yeah, and I would also say I think multi-sig. It just depends on how you want to do your governance. If you want one person, one vote, or if you want to somehow tokenize voting weight based off reputation. There's a wide design space, but sometimes keeping it simple is really nice. And the Gnosis multi-sig, you sign transactions. You can have a Gnosis multi-sig on mainnet and XDAI. There's some benefits there. I think it's really about figuring out how you want to structure your governance and then just doing it. But yeah, I think that's all my feedback. David, you had something to add?
I do, yeah. Thanks very much for putting all this together, Griff. I mean, sorry, Chuy. And I just wanted to add, I posted a link. The Tulip Swarm over at OneHive is also trying to figure out compensation administration. And so I posted a link in the comms work group channel to a chat forum that's been, or I guess it's a discourse forum, I believe, and they've been discussing it. There's some interesting information there, including a pay scale from DX DAO. And I just wanted to put out there that our suggested base rates are 30% of DX DAO's suggested base rate. So to me, that suggests that they might be a bit on the low side. As for granularity, I have no idea what's appropriate for a tech proposal. I defer to you guys. And I agree with Livy that I like horizontal alignment of pay scales as well. After many, many years, that's what succeeded in my marriage, and it works great. And yet, we can't deny some hardcore, people that have committed to their education for decades are not worth more when they contribute their know-how, expertise, and special projects. And so I appreciate the work been done on this. I just wanted to direct people's attention to that Tulip Swarm compensation forum post for extra thought-provoking. And yeah, that's it. Thanks. I want the name of this school in Vienna too, and I'll start tweeting about it. Thanks.
Yeah, I saw the link you posted, and I thought there was something interesting about a scaling model they had. That was like, if you're just starting, like, I don't know, someone that never heard about crypto or DAOs and then entered in the space and they want to contribute, they are in like one scale, and then there was up to 5 scales, and that changed the compensation. I think that could be problematic in some ways, but it sounded like an interesting choice, mostly because even the first scale had a really good payout. So it's not that anyone was being like burned in any way for just being starting. There was like that level of, and I think that takes some pressure off of people's shoulders also when they're starting, of like, oh, everybody knows that I'm starting. There is a process to gain knowledge, and maybe there are some educational pathways that can happen. But yeah, that was just something interesting from there.
Yeah, thanks, Livy. And thanks, David, for reminding this about the Tulip DAO discussion. It's definitely a great case study for the stage that we're in right now. And I feel that for all of the stewards, it's just some great input on how we can organize like some of the future. And in addition to this, Livy, uh, I would really like to think on SourceGrid to see kind of like the direction that it's taking. Uh, I'm also a little bit behind on a feedback that Nate requested, but for like everything around UVI and the CEC and how that can be arranged. And like in addition to the Tulip DAO, Poland is still a thing. So that's something that maybe I would also to clarify, because like you could really like be part of any swarm. Like you could be or you can be like hunting bounties in the Buzz DAO, or you can be working for Tulip or Agave. But like it doesn't matter. Like as long as you have like some kind of like interactions with the community, SourceGrid is gonna recognize that. And this is probably like not something that can be like a full-time compensation, let's say. Like for some people, it works really good. Obviously, these people are more involved like in full-time, but even like for graphic designers, I've always found Poland really convenient, because even though like it's not like providing them with like a lot of income, like in a way it's how you said, like it's really good for newcomers. And even in my own personal case, like I remember the first day that I got like, Poland, it was like wow, like I could have talked about SourceGrid like for hours and people would explain it to me, but I would have never gotten it as quick as like the first time I got this like compensation. So I also feel that SourceGrid can sometimes be like a complementary tool for newcomers, uh, and also like as also like more veteran people in the community, let's say. Uh, I'm gonna move on to the next agenda topic so that we have enough time. But thank you very much to everyone for all of this Comms DAO feedback. I'll work on the naming also, so that it can be like more associated with the CEC cultural build and our values as well. So Graviton training calendar. Um, we're gonna be also promoting like a Google Calendar with all of the dates and times so that it's easier for people to get. However, if you're interested in being part of this training, there's a link to like some of the dates and the content and everything that is gonna be happening around the Graviton training in our forum. So make sure you check that, and we hope to see you there. It's going to be really good for the community. Also, Juanca, do you want to take it on the 75% governance give back discussion?
Yeah, that yesterday in the Common Swarm call, they were discussing that they found like a technical solution that was feasible, and that was one of the things that was maybe like slowing the boat. So I think like now that that part is being cleared out, like the boat can like proceed, and I still want advice process on this. But I am proposing to have it on the weekend of the 17th to the 20th of September, and use quadratic voting just with the options yes or no.
Okay, so would a good next step be to engage in the forum discussion, or is it like is it gonna like go to another stage of the advice process?
Yeah. First, if you think that the question is well written, and if you think that the question like represents the purpose of the vote, the intention of the vote, and also if you think like quadratic voting, like the type of voting is the right one, and also on the date, I think those would be the three main topics to have advice process on.
Advice process.
Sorry, Griff. What was that?
Sorry. Oh, I see. My mic is far away. Where exactly would we want to do the advice process, Wonka? Is there like a? Do you want us to do it in the post or just message you, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that it can be in the forum to continue fostering engagement in the post.
Thanks.
Yeah, in the forum.
Thank you, Juanca. Okay, and going to our next agenda topic, I wanted to talk about the TEC token listing. It's a great thing that Libby and Griff are here, because I feel that you also have more experience with this. I don't know if you saw, but this week there was like a glitch in CoinGecko, and both Connie and Agave show that they had like a peak of like $1,500 or something like that, and that stayed like in the graph, but it was just like a glitch. And it reminded me also like about how the TEC listing is gonna interact with different listing sites. Um, so I want to touch this subject in the working group, so that, sorry about the blender, and maybe bring this up in the comments form, so that we can start asking ourselves how the bonding curve is going to interact with these different sites, and we can get a little bit ahead of that. And I also found that Jessica had brought this up, but like back in November, December, I think, and she suggested both like DDAO and positive blockchain. So, well, in case you're not familiar with CoinGecko, this is it. This is pretty much like the most popular. But I was also seeing that DDAO is very interesting, and it also has like different platforms that I feel that, for example, One Hive is like listed under like Aragon, but probably it could be a good idea to work with DeepDAO, so that we can add like Gardens as a new platform in the next few weeks. And also, positive blockchain is like really great. Like if you don't know this site, like I had checked it out before. It's really interesting just how the listings pretty much just spin around just blockchain for goods mainly. So yes, I wanted to touch this subject since it's in our probably like around November, I think that right now we are gonna go through the comments upgrade. But I also feel that part of like a good comp strategy once we get close to that is also to be promoted in like listings, and that people can find the TEC token and a link to the augmented bonding curve with no issues. So I'm gonna pass it to whoever wants to comment on this. I know that right now it's not a priority, but it will it will be at some point, and it's I mean, a regular listing in Uniswap would be better, but I know that there might be some issues between the augmented bonding curve and just the APIs in these sites. So if anybody has some input in this or experience in the matter, feel free to comment.
I would say that it's very critical that we are in communications with the CoinGecko team and asking them what they need, and then making in advance, and then making sure the Common Swarm can provide it. It's actually really powerful to have the token listed at launch in advance, and it's something that takes time. So the DApp node token, for instance, it took 3 weeks, I think, to get it listed. And yeah, it's when people go to see what the price of the token is, where do they go? They won't go to our website. You know, they'll go to CoinGecko because that's just what they're trained to do, and CoinMarketCap. So it's very actually, I would say it's pretty critical, and I don't think it will be hard for them to receive. We might just have to build an API for them to pull from, and that's all it is. And the API probably already exists, and we just have to tell them what it is for the price. The token supply is the more complicated piece that I think will be a challenge for them, but we can see what they need by. It would be amazing if you have someone who wants to be the point person on this, but yeah. And it's a valuable skill if you take the point on this. You know, you can do this for anybody afterwards.
Thanks, Griff.
Yeah.
Anybody else have some input on this?
I'd like to be involved
Go ahead.
on this. I feel it's also good for transparency, but I actually personally want to be involved to learn. And yeah, Sam was telling me back in the days, like for Honey, it was hard at the beginning, but maybe the start point should be also talking with One Hive, because it was hard at the beginning to, for example, One Hive get listed, but then for all the gardens, it's easy. Like Agave got listed like very fast compared to Honey. So yeah, maybe we should create an issue, and I'd like to support there.
I'll join you, Zepti.
Nice.
I would as well.
Yes, I'm also thinking of maybe inviting. I know that Josh back in the day was in charge of like the CoinGecko listing for Honey and Agave. I'll invite him to the next Common Swarm meeting for next Monday, and see if he can shine some light on what were some of the challenges. And yeah, I mean, the Common Swarm, we will know they're like superheroes, so I'm pretty sure that if they need to come up with an API or something that works efficiently for them and it's accurate, I'm pretty sure they can do a great job with that. But yeah, like about the procedure and all this, I will keep you, Septi and Nate, in the loop, especially if we reach out to CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap for just like basic requirements for listing. So I'll leave the last 7 minutes of this call to David so that he can present some like basic analytics for Twitter, and we can be like more just aware of who are we talking to in our social media. So I'll pass it to you, David.
Okay, thanks, Chuy. Is my screen appearing all right? Can I get a thumbs up if it is?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks. Well, first off, a little apologies. This is a rehashed Twitter report, and that's just because I don't have fully permissioned access yet to the top secret Twitter password. And as soon as I get that, I'll be working up some additional statistics that will help us understand our audience even better. And I'm hoping to have some of those by the Thursday community call. So stand by for that. We can make our way through this. This is a summary of August's Twitter statistics. We can see tweets up by 45%, and tweet impressions up by 66%. Profile visits are down slightly. Mentions and followers, the followers is up. I love seeing that, the way that trend line is climbing. And we're really starting to pull people into conversation. And that's been more or less my primary goal, is to create an ongoing conversation and keep it focused on token engineering and collaborative economics. And let me tell you, it's like herding cats. I mean, it wants to go conspiracy theory in the blink of an eye, or video games and COVID. And so it's a fun challenge, and I enjoy it. And of course, when we reached our minimum raise, our top tweet, it became our top tweet. total of 19,829 tweet impressions. I would have to Google a tweet impression to tell you exactly what that is. Token engineering commons, what an epic month for the family. Surpassed the minimum goal. This is the second top tweet of the month. And our third top tweet. Keep getting involved. Be part of the first collaborative economics that will fund advancing the field of token engineering. Our tweets often have to cram very complex subject matter into very limited space, and we try not to split tweets up into multiple tweets, like 2 or 3 tweets to cover the same subject where possible, but it's not always doable. I think my screen's frozen here. Stand by.
Is there some sort of mechanism through Twitter Analytics or some other third party plugin or that can that excludes or just separates a given list of participants or where those impressions came from, or to break down engagement with people who are already involved versus people who are trying?
That's a great question, and I will keep that in mind as I search for the best Twitter analytics program for us to use.
HubSpot is capable of doing that.
Pardon me?
I said HubSpot is capable of doing that, but we need to integrate Twitter into HubSpot.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
I'm just taking notes.
Yeah, HubSpot is a social media listening platform, so you can do it in a lot of different ways. So
Excellent.
I know we act like Twitter is the only thing that exists, but HubSpot can do a lot more than that.
Oh, nice. And Twitter does have an in-house analytics platform, but that's what I'm working on getting the password for to access. So I understand Chuy has made some inroads with HubSpot already. I know he's talked to me about it and asked me to sign up for an account. I'm not sure what the latest on HubSpot is, but it sounds like it's progressing towards integration, which is great.
We're almost there with HubSpot. Pretty much the only thing missing is to put together like a first email that we can put out for the hatcher. But yeah, like also Acid Laser has been doing a really good job putting like design templates together. And yeah, I'll be thinking with Nate during this week, so we can try to send something out for Friday. And yes, hopefully that can get it started with HubSpot, because it's taken a while, and I know that it's also a great tool. So
that's
yeah,
nice.
hopefully for this week we'll have it figured out and we can start exploring more options for the whole platform.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So we can do the complex analysis with HubSpot and filtering, and I can use the in-house Twitter analytics just for the basic demographics, and we'll have an excellent picture of our Twitter profile and activity. I'd just like to show you what is clearly the top tweet for the last 2 months, and it was the support required param. Is that showing up on my screen, Chuy, on the share? You can see it? Okay. To design TAO voting, we need to decide what degree of consensus we will need to pass proposals. This is determined by the support required. And you can all read the rest of it yourself. Well, an individual named Kurt commented on this with a question. And Kurt asks, doesn't that depend on what type of proposal it is? This came in the midst of the Params party, so I had fabulous help from Lauren and Griff to formulate a technical answer that was accurate. And we responded, hi, Kurt, thanks for the great question. You can read it for yourselves. And we explained the difference between conviction voting and TAO voting. This is my personal account, FYI, Blazing Third Eye. That's my own Twitter. And so I pipe in personally and I say, I want to explore the worst case scenarios. What could go wrong if we set it too high? Well, what could go wrong if we set it too low? And so when I ask that, Kurt comes back again with 2 responses. And in fact, at one time, I don't think I've had the tweet up, but it's buried in these messages. But he says he's making his way towards the TEC sort of slowly but surely, and he's not quite there yet, but he's on the verge. So that's just fabulous. And yeah, I was very happy to see that. This will most likely be the top tweet of the last. Well, we'll see. It's a high standard to beat for September, but for now, that's our number 1. So with that, 10 o'clock on the dot. Any questions about Twitter? I did do the forum post. Hopefully you saw it and commented. If you didn't, it's not too late. Please take a look. I will read it and take it to heart.
Thank you very much, David. We're at the top of the hour, but does anybody have some questions?